So that's why we've got James Green and Mark McAdam with us this evening, because they can handle the pace. Right, Jack Grealish.
I lost my pace years ago.
Let's talk Jack Grealish, Mark. What happens to Jack?
Yeah, it's a sorry situation, isn't it? This is a superstar. You know, someone that was so good for Aston Villa, someone that was so influential at times for Manchester City, the first £100 million Premier League player. And it's just gone pear-shaped at Manchester City over the course of, the last season, maybe 2 seasons. We've had some breaking news over the last couple of hours with regards to potentially an insight into what may happen with regards Jack Grealish this summer. As it stands, now things could change, of course, he's not going to be going to the Club World Cup with Manchester City, who are one of 2 Premier League sides involved in this new FIFA tournament. Of course, that could change depending on outgoings and injuries. He has 2 years left on his current Manchester City deal. As far as the player's concerned, he wants to fight for his place. He wants to say, I want to be at Man City, I want to be in that team, I want to go to the Club World Cup, I want to continue doing what I've done so well.
Yeah, but if you don't make that 35-man squad for the Club World Cup, the writing's on the wall, let's be honest.
Of course, and that's probably where you're going to lead me. Pep Guardiola hasn't used Jack Grealish over the course of the last few weeks and months. He's been a bit part player at best. He's not been playing his best football. He's not been terrorising defences like he did at certain points, and certainly when he was at Aston Villa. Our understanding would potentially consider offers for Jack Grealish. Like we said, they spent £100 million on him. The other big issue is he's on huge money with regard to his wages. So once again, like we seem to be saying so much at the moment, that will limit the amount of clubs that can come to the transfer table and say, we'd like to take you. It may be one of those things where Marcus Rashford on loan to Aston Villa. Could we see something similar happen to Jack Grealish, maybe later on in the window, not in this mini window, and that could be where we see the movement. But yeah, big story, and that could be where we see the movement. But yeah, big story, big interesting development today, and of course someone that is such an iconic Premier League player seems to be lost.
You say seems to be lost. I mean, there were certainly moments this season. There was a lot of pressure. Pep Guardiola asked numerous times in press conferences about Jack Grealish, why he's not being used, why he's an unused substitute. I think the cameras were constantly panning on to Jack Grealish on the substitutes bench. He turned up every single time. He represented England really well when he got moved into that middle area of the pitch. It looked like, maybe he's going to find some form. But Pep Guardiola seemed to always pick somebody else to come off the bench and not Jack Grealish. But if we do look at the last 4 seasons since his move to Manchester City, I would say probably, apart from maybe the second season when City won the treble, it's been quite underwhelming.
Yeah, well, let's look at those numbers then, please, because 4 seasons, treble year aside, has it all been a bit of a struggle?
It has been a struggle. I think at the start it was a bit of a struggle. It felt like he struggled to fit into maybe Manchester City's way of playing, Pep Guardiola's way of playing in particular. I mean, you can see there just 39 appearances in his first season. The second season, the treble win, he appeared 50 times. He was a key part of that side. The assists, I think, were most important. He was so creative in that season. And it's just dropped off the last couple of seasons. And in the last couple of seasons, I know 2 seasons ago, a few injury problems, but just 20 Premier League appearances, just 20 Premier League appearances last season too. It's just not working. But he's 29 years old, Mike. He's got still plenty to give and a World Cup on the horizon. If that isn't motivation for a player, Mark, that missed out on the European Championship, he was devastated to miss out on that. He really wanted to be a part of that squad. He's now got an opportunity at the World Cup on the horizon. I'm sure he's sitting there now today probably questioning, OK, what next? What do I need to go? What opportunities are out there?
What next?
Well, like we've already said, I think financially things will dictate a lot of where he could potentially go. Manchester City may have to do a little bit of the heavy lifting with regards to his wages. It's not something that's uncommon. We've seen it with the likes of Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling, where their parent club says, OK, we can't get what we want for you, but we're willing to pay a chunk of your wages to try and grease the wheels of a possible deal. That may happen. But at the minute, Manchester City are in a position where they can say, well, we've still got a long chunk of the summer. We don't have to accept the first offer that comes on the table. We can wait and see how things go. We can let Jack look at the situation. And as we said at the start of the show, things change quickly in football. 1 or 2 injuries. There is a mini window during the Club World Cup where after the group stages, sides can re-sign and reshape their squad. Now, maybe if they get 2 or 3 injuries to certain key areas in those group games and Man City progress, they could say, actually, Jack, we need you. You're going to come out to America and be a part of this squad. He's still a player that offers so much. He's got so much ability, so much potential still, I feel, as well. He can get better. He's only 29. He's the type of player, as we've seen, that can transform the game in a heartbeat.
Maverick.
And when you've got one of those players in your team and in your squad, and we've seen it for England, how many times has he come off the bench for Gareth Southgate and transformed the outcome of a match? He can still do that. He's still got that in his locker. So, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of teams queuing up for him. But it will be about one thing, which is what we seem to be talking about all the time at the moment, finance.
Exactly. All right, so we'll see what happens with Jack, but City getting busy anyway today. Tell us more, James.
Yeah, deal's been agreed with Tijjani Reijnders, £46.3 million. This player's joining on a 5-year contract. We've been talking about him now probably for the last week. 26-year-old midfielder from AC Milan, Netherlands international, Syria, midfielder of the year last year. He's one of those players that he likes receiving the ball, he likes passing the ball, he likes running with the ball. He's got a bit of everything, and they need that, Manchester City, with that hole left by Kevin De Bruyne. This feels like an interesting signing.
Well, they need legs in midfield.
They need legs.
They need fresh legs.
Absolutely do. And to make this signing now, obviously, deal agreed at this point. It's not official yet, but we're expecting an announcement very soon, certainly before the 10th of June deadline, so he can play in the Club World Cup. And I think it's just a sign that Manchester City are being aggressive in the transfer market. It was Chairman Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, last week was talking about it, saying we need to be more aggressive, because last summer he was quite critical. Pep Guardiola was critical, saying that we sat back a little bit last summer. Well, they're not sitting back now. They weren't sitting back in January. We shouldn't forget the amount of money spent in January. The likes of Nico Gonzalez, Kusanov came in, Omar Mamouche came in. Reece came in as well. So they're spending a lot of money, and it seems like they're attacking this window straight from the off too.
Pep's been playing centre-backs at left-back, but is that going to change?
I think so, and I think it will change before the Club World Cup as well. Little bit of news coming out this afternoon. We know that Manchester City wants a left-back, and they've identified Rain Aït-Nouri at Wolves as potentially the man that could solve their left-sided problems. We also know there was an interest in Milos Kerkez, but that wasn't pursued. It's important to point out there's been no verbal contact between Manchester City and Wolves at the moment for the 23-year-old, who has 1 year left on his contract, but with an option, a club option, second year. It's expected this deal could cost Manchester City around £50 million and upwards, which isn't unfamiliar territory for them. What did they pay for Kyle Walker all those years ago? £50 million. And
on the other side, they paid £50 million.
That's exactly what they pay for fullback. So, yeah, that would ring true. Their first game in the Club World Cup, you'll know, Mike, 18th of June, and that's in Philadelphia. You'll also know where they're based over the course of the Club World Cup, because you've got a holiday home there in Florida.
Have I now? Listen, Pep didn't say too long ago, did he, that if he doesn't get a smaller squad, he's off, because he hates leaving players at home on match days. If that's the case, who on earth is going to have to go?
I think there'll be multiple players that will be looking at the exit. Let's be honest, Pep Guardiola is ruthless. Yeah. And if you're not in his plans, i.e. possibly Jack Grealish, he's not scared to let you know. And I think the writing's on the wall for him, and certainly with other players as well. So they'll be looking financially at where they can make a little bit of money. But I think we will see a big number of outgoing players at Manchester City. But like any club that gets their business done early and sensibly, it's about who they sign and recruit to build that squad, and then they'll start letting players go. That's the way that professional clubs operate. Get them in and then let them go.
Yeah. And Mike, I think Manchester City and Pep Guardiola will want to see more from his players. It was a disappointing season, quite frankly, and we look at a couple of players. We've mentioned Jack Grealish, Phil Foden really dropped off last season. I think his last 90 minutes was all the way back in February. Jeremy Doku need more from these players, and I think that's going to be the focus this summer, as well as recruitment. I think it's really driving these players forward to get more out of them again. If they can get them back to the form that saw them win the treble, then with all these new recruits coming in, it's a scary prospect for everybody else in the Premier League once again, and you're going to have a big smile on your face once again, Mike.
I'm always smiling.
Ya saltan, uno cae el barrio. Es determinante cuánto daño puede hacer el conjunto de 1K, sobre todo con Granero en esas primeras de cambio en la salida de escalera. Así que esa parte del partido va a ser absolutamente clave para el equipo de Iker Casillas. Por cierto, felicitar porque ha venido una buena afición de 1K.
Tiene la pelota Gerard Noya en cara, sigue Noya, Noya dispara, Arnalot.
80 paradas.
paradas ya para Arnalot. Gil Vidal ataca desde la derecha el número 9. Gil Vidal con el centro, buena pelota, Arché con la rodilla le pegó. Pues es el que desatasca un poco el partido, ¿no? Con centros, ojo ahí, se golpeó, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Mar Valiente! ¡Gol! Del Barrio, marca Mar Valiente. Esa banda izquierda que es terreno de los cañonazos de Granero, a la que tengo un mínimo de espacio, le pega Granero. Bueno, pues es decirlo, y ahí lo tenemos. El tema es que el remate le ha salido centrado. Abraham, buena pelota, banda derecha. Vamos a ver qué hace ahí Fran Rodríguez, se mete en el área, sigue Fran. ¡Qué bien, Fran! Se va de dos, el remate, ¡fuera!
¡Chicos!
A ver si acierta. ¡Claro que
Mira
sí!
acá.
Busca el Barrio el segundo gol. Arché. Arché para Gil. Gil que le puede pegar a este Gil. Buen recorte. Gil al
¡Dios!
palo. Levanta Arché.
¡Dios!
¡Arnalot!
¡No!
Pelota arriba.
Madre mía, qué parada. Y a centímetros del remate, ¿eh?
No, la reacción ha sido impresionante. El disparo. ¡Madre
¡Ay,
de
ay,
Dios!
ay, ay, ay!
¡Otro que vuela! ¡Otro más! Que está la pelota para John de la Cruz. La quiere levantar. Vuelve a pegar la pelota en el cuerpo de un jugador del Barrio. El remate con la puntera y acaba deteniendo a Gerard Vacas. Será córner favorable a 1K. Bueno, a ver.
Gol doble.
Gol doble. A ver, saque de banda. Balón puesto en movimiento. Intentaba rematar Mar Valiente. El remate. ¡Gol! ¡Baufer! ¡Gol! ¡Del Barrio! ¡Le pegó con el alma! ¡Baufer!
Y es…
¡Penalti
¡Madre
normal!
mía lo de los penaltis!
¡Penalti normal! Y el que quiere hacer el 0-3 es el número 4, pega Valiente. ¡Vaya cañón! ¡Gol! Ahí están, Arnalot y Vacas como candidatos, como guardametas, y también Mar Valiente y Pau Ferojo la recuperación. Tiene la pelota al Barrio que puede sentenciar el remate. ¡Gol!
Knockout.
¡Gol!
¡Let's go, Barria! Ponme el 5, ponme el 5, ponme el 5.
El cambio del partido ha sido radical en los últimos 10 minutos. El balón que lo tiene. ¡Ojo!
¡Ay, ay, 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 ay! Jaimitada.
Marca de nuevo el Barrio, gol de Fran Fuentes. El equipo de Juan Arroita, que no ganaba un encuentro con esta tranquilidad, entre comillas, al final, con un margen tan amplio, con 2 goles dobles que han hecho pasar el partido del 0-3 al 0-7.
Paufer, ha costado, pero por fin ha llegado esa victoria tan deseada con goleada.
Ha costado mucho, pero bueno, le damos emoción hasta el momento final, recta final, y ahora, pase lo que pase con Pío, nos lo jugaremos contra ellos.
Eso te iba a decir, pase lo que pase con Pío, la semana que viene, o ellos, o tú, o tu ex equipo, o tú.
Bueno, o el Barrio o ellos, pero sí. La vida, yo qué sé, no sé, son cosas muy raras que suceden, pero ahí estaremos. Ahora estoy en el Barrio, así que espero que gane el Barrio.
Enhorabuena y a disfrutarlo.
Gracias.